Hey dudes, what's up? My name's Simon. Peter. So I'm totally psyched about this radical time when we met this totally righteous dude named Jesus. So we were like, this all started on my home turf at the Sea of Galilee.
He means the Lake of Gennesaret.
No, dude, it's totally the Sea of Galilee.
We're brothers. I'm from the same place, Simple Simon. I call it the Lake of Gennesaret.
Don't call me Simple Simon, Andrew. I will tell Dad.
Fine. Anyway, you're already telling it all wrong. Because we first met Jesus in Jerusalem. I should know, I introduced you. See, it was this way. My friend and I have been very interested in John the Baptist and his teachings, and we're almost always with him. When Jesus showed up and John the Baptist said, "Look, the Lamb of God," we left John and followed Jesus to see where he lives.
Dude, your story is totally lame. Let me tell it. Okay, so Andrew and his homie were totally creeping on Jesus when Jesus saw them and totally freaked them out by saying, "Why are you following me?" And busted. So, lame guys that they were, they're like, "Oh, we're following you home." Seriously? But Jesus didn't call the police, but he was totally cool. So he invited them home with him and they totally shot the breeze all day.
We didn't shoot the breeze. Our conversation was on an intellectual level that you were obviously incapable of.
Sure, bro. That's totally why you came running to me. You should have seen his face. It was hilarious. "Simon, Simon, we found the Messiah. You have to come be a part of our intellectual conversation."
I did not say that.
Whatever. It was pretty close. So I decided to go check it out to see if this dude was legit. I don't know what I expected, but this dude was radical. We came walking up to Jesus, and we didn't get one word out of our mouths before Jesus looked at me and said, "You are Simon, son of John. You will be called Cephas." Cephas is the same as Peter. It means rock.
Because of the rocks in your head.
Whatever, dude. You're a hater. So I was totally stoked. This cool dude gave me a slammin' nickname, so we chilled with the Rad Man for a while.
It was an experience like none other. It was truly mesmerizing.
Truly? Seriously, I cannot believe we are brothers.
Neither can I.
But as much as we like just hanging out, a dude's gotta eat. So we said, "Later, dude," and we went back to the beach to my sweet Molly.
That's our fishing boat.
Yeah, but you must admit,
Must you?
when it comes to fishing, I am the big kahuna. So people actually call me the Fish Whisperer.
No one calls him that.
I love fishing. So when we launched our boat Molly that night, I was amped to the max. The waves were calm, the moon was out, and the breeze was light. I expected to haul in a bodacious load of fish.
But we didn't get a single bite.
Zip, zero, nada, nothing, zilch. It was brutal. So when daybreak came, we hauled our tired carcasses onto the beach and began the tedious job of cleaning our nets. It was a total bummer.
Then off in the distance, we saw a lot of movement. As we got closer, we realized there was a big crowd of people walking along the shore. We very seldom saw many people out at the time of the morning, so we knew something of great significance was occurring or had occurred. Was it a political uprising? Was it a terrible disaster? Was it a group of zombies come to inhale our bodies and take over the planet?
Dude, chillax! We soon saw it was Jesus being followed by a ton of groupies. And so, they weren't total burnouts either. They were just people from town who were totally stoked to hear his awesomeness, so they followed him around.
I admit, I was a bit anxious when I first realized it was Jesus. We had left him to fish after all.
Yeah, awkward! So we kept our heads down and kept cleaning the nets.
I could see our business partners, James and John, by their boat craning their necks to see what was going on. They hadn't caught any fish either, so they weren't all that busy.
Yeah, I was hoping Jesus would just walk on by, but he walked straight to our boat and climbed on in. So boarding someone else's boat without permission is pretty totally jacked up, but Jesus acted like he owned it. He looked over at me and asked me to take him out a little way from shore. Whatever, dude. So I got in Molly and took her out a little way and put the anchor down.
Then Jesus began speaking to the people on shore. He taught with such authority. He didn't just own the boat, but he owned us too. His voice carried over the water and straight into our hearts.
Dude, you are embarrassing yourself. When Jesus got done talking, he turned around and told me to take the boat out to deep water and let down the nets. Now, I know fish, and I know the Sea of Galilee. He had talked a while, and it wasn't really morning anymore, so the sun was beating down, and the waves were all choppy, and I knew there was no way we were going to catch any fish. So I looked him in the eye, and I was like, Master, we've been fishing all day, and we haven't really caught anything. And I was thinking, do I tell you how to build furniture, Mr. Carpenter? But then he gave me the look.
The look of authority.
It was the look. I mean, it was kind of like the look that our dad gives us when we're about to get in trouble, but nicer. So I quickly said, but if that's what you want to do, dude, I'll do it. So I let the nets down, and then I sat down, kicked back, and prepared to tell the old "I told you so" speech. Just then, the boat jerked and started leaning towards the side with the nets, and so I hooked up the pulley and started hauling the nets up. And I couldn't believe my eyes. There were tons and tons upon tons of the most bodacious fish I have ever seen. But the nets on the boat couldn't hold so many fish, and I heard the gnarly sound of the nets popping as they broke, and the fish started to pour back into the sea. Total bummer! So I yelled towards our partners, James and John, on the shore. I was like waving my arms like a madman, and they finally got the hint. And they and their crew and Andrew hopped in the boat and wasted no time in bringing the fresh nets and plenty of help to haul in the most bodacious load of fish that I have ever seen.
We could hardly keep up. As soon as we had one load of fish in, another one would fill our nets. We had to haul in fish faster than we'd ever done before just to keep up with them.
We filled both boats with so many fish that before we knew it, like, the boats began to sink from the weight.
Wait, this is my favorite part. That's when you fell down right at Jesus' feet in front of everyone and said, "Go away from me, Lord, I am a sinful man."
Gloat all you want, Andrew, but you were thinking the same thing. There was just something about this guy.
His authority. It was over us and the fish and over the air we were breathing. It was overwhelming.
I couldn't bear to be near him because when he looked at me, I could only think of how we left him with that excuse that we needed the fish to eat. And he was obviously proven that he could give us plenty of fish anytime he wanted to. I was pretty ashamed.
Then he smiled. Remember?
And then he said, "Don't be afraid. From now on, you will fish for men." And that's when I knew I'd been punked. He totally knew how to get to me, and he knew the only way I'd give up being the big kahuna on the beach was to show me what a poser I was compared to him.
James, John, and I felt the same way. He told us to leave our nets and follow him, and that's what we did. You don't ignore authority like that.
Wait till you hear the other things that Jesus did on the beach. It's going to totally blow your mind, dudes and dudettes. See you next week.